I've walked the same path by Maple River for nearly 40 years. It's quiet out there. Just the sound of water brushing against the rocks and the wind moving through the pine trees. That evening was no different. At least it didn't seem so. The sun was melting into the horizon, painting everything gold and red. You know that soft light that makes even the world's pain look gentle? That's what it looked like. I remember thinking how still everything felt, like time itself had paused to listen. That's when I saw him. A man, tall, wearing a dark coat, standing at the edge of the riverbank. He wasn't fishing, he wasn't skipping stones, he was just standing there, holding a small wooden box in both hands. He looked around once, quick, nervous. His shoulders were tense like he was hiding something heavy. Then, without a word, he tossed the box into the river. The splash broke the silence like a gunshot. For a moment he just watched the ripples, frozen. Then he turned and walked away, fast. I don't know why, but my heart started racing. Something about the way he moved, the way he didn't look back. It wasn't trash he was throwing, I could feel it. I stood there on the bridge, staring down at the water. The box was floating, caught in the fading sunlight, turning slowly with the current. I could have gone home, pretended I didn't see a thing. But something deep inside me whispered, "Don't let it go." And I didn't. That night, my quiet river walk became the start of something I never expected. A secret that would change everything I thought I knew. I must have stood there for 5, maybe 10 minutes, just staring at the ripples fading across the water. The man was gone, vanished down the path, but that box and it was still there, drifting slowly under the bridge. I told myself to walk away. You're too old for this, Tom, I thought. Let the river have it. But something about that box held me. It wasn't just curiosity. It felt like the river was calling me to look closer. The current wasn't strong that day. I followed it along the muddy bank, careful not to slip. The box bumped against the reeds, turning like it was waiting for me to catch up. After about 100 yards, it got stuck near a fallen branch. I hesitated. The water looked cold, dark, and deeper than it should have been. But before I knew it, my shoes were off and my sleeves were rolled up. The shock of that water hit me straight to the bones. Still, I waded in, slow but steady, until I reached it. The box was heavier than it looked. Solid wood, maybe oak. I dragged it to the shore and sat down, catching my breath. It was old, worn smooth like it had been handled a lot. On the top were 2 carved letters, LW. I traced them with my thumb. LW didn't ring a bell. But I knew I'd seen carving like that before, the kind someone makes when something means the world to them. The latch was rusted. Took me a minute to pry it open with my pocket knife. And when it finally gave, the lid creaked, slow, almost like it didn't want to open. Inside, wrapped neatly in clear plastic, were dozens of photographs, old ones, black and white, and right in the middle was a gold locket, and still shining even after all those years. I didn't know it then, but what I'd found that night wasn't just someone's memory. It was someone's secret. That night I couldn't sleep. The box sat on my kitchen table like it was watching me. Every time I passed it, I felt that same pull in my chest. Curiosity mixed with something heavier. Maybe guilt. Maybe fear. I made a cup of coffee, sat down and began to go through what was inside. The photographs were delicate, edges curled with age. Most were black and white, some slightly tinted from the early 70s. A young woman smiled in nearly all of them. Light hair, gentle eyes, and a calmness that almost felt familiar. In many pictures, she was standing beside a man in uniform, the same face I saw by the river. Back then he was younger, strong, proud, the kind of man who looked like he could carry the world on his shoulders. In one photo, they were cutting a birthday cake. In another, holding a baby girl wrapped in a pink blanket. I looked closer at one photo, a farmhouse porch, the woman waving at the camera, 2 children behind her. The handwriting on the back read, Laura, Henry, Annie and Sam, summer 1975. Laura and Henry. The initials on the box, LW. So the woman was Laura Whitman. At the bottom of the box were letters, dozens of them tied with faded ribbon. I untied one and began to read. Dear Henry, I can't wait for you to come home. The children miss you. I miss you more than I can say. The next one, a year later, was different. I don't understand why you won't write. If you found someone else, just say so. I can bear anything but silence. And the final one, dated 1982, sent a chill through me. If you won't come home, I'll find my own way. I sat there for a long time, the letter trembling in my hands. Something was wrong. Why would a man throw this away? What kind of memory did he want the river to drown? By morning, I knew I couldn't ignore it anymore. The letters, the pictures, they weren't just relics. They were a story that someone wanted erased. I drove into town with the box on the passenger seat beside me, like an unwanted passenger. The sheriff's office sat right on Main Street. Small place, still smelled like coffee and old paperwork. My nephew Daniel works there. Good man, patient with me most of the time. When he saw the box, he chuckled. "Uncle Tom, what trouble are you chasing now?" But when I told him about the man at the river and showed him the photos, the laughter faded from his face. He turned one of the letters over, reading the name at the bottom, Laura Whitman. His eyebrows knit together. "Uncle, you said Whitman?" I nodded. He sighed, sat back in his chair and said quietly, "That name's from an old file. Laura Whitman went missing in '82. No trace, no body. Her husband, Henry Whitman, was a suspect for a while, but nothing stuck. He disappeared a year later." For a second, I didn't breathe. I pictured that man by the river again. The grey hair, the way he looked around before tossing the box. Henry Whitman wasn't dead. He was right here. Daniel warned me to leave it alone. "It's a cold case, Uncle. Best not to stir ghosts." But I couldn't. That evening, I drove to the edge of town where the old Whitman farmhouse still stood. Weathered, half collapsed, swallowed by weeds. Except one window glowed with light. Someone was there. I parked down the road and walked the rest of the way. My heart pounded like it hadn't in years. Through the cracked window I saw him, older now, hunched, staring at something on the table. It was the same gold locket I'd found in the box. And the look on his face wasn't guilt. It was sorrow, deep, unbearable sorrow. I don't know what gave me the courage to knock on that door. Maybe age, maybe stubbornness. Henry opened it after a moment, and when he saw me standing there, he didn't even look surprised. Just tired. "You shouldn't have picked that up," he said quietly. His voice cracked, soft like the sound of dry wood splitting. "I couldn't just let it sink," I told him. "I saw you throw it in. I thought maybe someone was in trouble." He looked at me for a long time, then stepped aside. "Come in then. Might as well finish what you started." The house was nearly empty. No pictures, no furniture, except for one wooden chair and a table with a single lamp. On that table lay the same gold locket I'd found in the box. He picked it up gently, like it was something living. "That belonged to Laura," he said, "my wife." I stayed silent. He took a deep breath, staring at the floor. "She was the light in every dark thing I ever faced. We had 2 kids, Annie and Sam, but after I came home from the service, I wasn't the same. I thought I could handle the things I'd seen, the nightmares, the noise. But it followed me home." His hands trembled. "I started drinking. I said things I didn't mean, pushed her away. One night she left a letter, said she was taking the kids to her sister's until I got help. She never made it." My throat went dry. "You mean—" He nodded slowly. "Car accident. Back road flooded that night. I found them the next morning, but no one ever reported it right. Folks thought she ran away. I let them think that." He swallowed hard, looking toward the dark window. "I built that box myself. Every photo, every letter, everything I destroyed because I couldn't face it. I kept it for 40 years. Then last night I thought maybe it was time to let it go." His eyes were wet but steady. "I wanted the river to have the truth. I just didn't want anyone else to carry it." For a long time, neither of us spoke. The house was silent except for the ticking of a clock that probably hadn't kept time in years. Henry sat there holding the locket, staring at it like it contained everything he had left. "You could have told someone," I said softly. "You didn't have to carry this alone." He smiled faintly, not out of joy but out of exhaustion. "People don't listen to broken men, Tom. They listen to those who survive clean. I wasn't clean anymore." He stood, walked over to the window and looked out toward the river. "That river was our place," he said. "Laura loved it, said it made her feel at peace. I thought maybe, if I gave the memories back to it, I could find peace too. Something inside me ached. I thought about my own wife, gone almost 10 years now, how I still kept her things in boxes I couldn't open. Maybe we all have rivers we're trying to bury our pain in. I looked at Henry, his back bent, his life worn thin. You can't undo the past, I said, but you can still make it mean something. He turned to me, eyes red, tired. Meaning died with her. I took a deep breath. No, Henry. Meaning's what's left when the truth finally comes out. That night I left his house with the box. He didn't stop me. Maybe he wanted me to take it. Maybe he was ready for the truth to breathe again. Let's take action and embrace inner peace. Achieving inner peace is a personal and unique journey. Here are some general approaches that might be helpful. 1. Meditate regularly. Meditation encourages a clear mind and calm spirit, allowing you to disconnect from worldly concerns and focus on your inner self. 2. Maintain physical health. Regular exercise, a healthy diet, and good sleep habits can significantly improve your mental state. 3. Spend time in nature, whether it's a walk in the park, stargazing, or listening to the ocean. Spending time in nature can effectively help you achieve peace. Let's take action and embrace inner peace.